For many years, people have created stories and movies where animals talk to humans in a very natural way. This can be seen as fantasy or fiction, but perhaps these creatures could be able to learn to communicate with humans using a language, or it is just a human thing. Humans are capable of producing sounds and syllables in a string of speech that appears to have no communicative purpose. It is not intentional communication. We may say that the same thing about some chirping and singing produced by birds. We also don't assume that the blackbird is communicating anything by having black feathers, sitting on a branch and looking down at the ground. However, the bird is considered to be sending a communicative signal.
Okay, now the properties of human language. Communication as the main function of human language is not a distinctive feature. All creatures communicate without the need for vocalization, but many creatures are not reflecting on the way that they create their communicative message or analyzing how they work. For example, a dog that barks thoroughly is not communicating anything inside human beings are capable of reflecting on language and everything that comes from it. This is called reflexivity, and it's the ability that we must use language to think or speak, making it a distinctive feature of language human being. Displacement, and in this case, the communication of animals such as a cat is designed only for the present because you can ask something and get an answer. It will always be the same, just like a dog. Its way of communication will always be and there are no relate events that are very far apart. That is, they can speak in the past or future, and in the other hand, the human language does have this ability, but there is one exception with the bees because one can carry out a time limit message to the honeycomb to indicate a nectar location by moving.
In general, there is no natural connection between a linguistic form and its meaning. This aspect of the relationship between words and objects is described as arbitrariness. For that reason, each variety of animal communication consists of a limited set of vocal or gestural forms. Many of these forms are only used in specific situations. Humans create new expressions every day to describe situations, objects, or simply apply them to a common conversation with friends. This property is described as productivity, a result of the infinite number of expressions in any human language. On the other hand, animals can't do this. The lack of productivity in animal communication can be described in terms of physics references.
Now, the cultural transmission, we can enjoy physical traits for our parents genetically, but we can enjoy their language. We acquire a language in a culture with others speaking and not with the genes of our parents. For example, a baby born in Korea and Korean parents, but adopted by a family from the United States may enjoy physical traits for their parents, but may not enjoy their language. The process where a language is transmitted from one generation to other is called cultural transmission. Animals are born with the instinctive ability to produce specific signals or sounds such as birds, and living with other birds make them produce and sound appropriately. The duality or double articulation, and it is when we produce individual sounds like M, B, E, or I that don't have any meaning and at the same time We have the ability to combine the letters and produce a different meaning, as well as produce many combinations of sound with different meaning. Inside from other creatures is different things, age, communicative signals, or sounds to be a single fix and cannot be broken down.
Sometimes we say that human language is the only communication system. However, some animals respond to expressions such as woohoo in horses, come on in dogs or cats. The standard explanation is that the animal produces a particular behavior in response to a particular sound, but does not actually understand the meaning of the word.
Chimpanzees and language. Raising a child and a chimpanzee was very crazy, but this was done in 1930 by Wella and Mitro Callow, and chimpanzee named Wa could understand 100 words but didn't say any of them. And in 1940, a chimpanzee named Vicky was raised by other scientists, Katerina and Kate, trying to get her to say some poorly articulate words like man, dad, and cat, with which it was concluded that non-human primates don't have a physical structure to properly articulate speech sounds human.
Important lessons have been learned from attempts to teach chimpanzees how to use forms of language through a symbol system. However, we still don't seem to have a non-controversial definition of what using language means. To conclude, one solution may be stop thinking of language. It is in more comprehensive and productive sense that we say that language is uniquely human.